what is going on, guys? This is the SS Ultimate Goku back with another video, and today I'm going to be doing the Dragon Ball Super Broly movie English dub review. And today, also I'm also going to be bringing someone back who watched the movie as well. And we'll also be, don't worry, because this is a spoiler one, so we will put a countdown for the spoilers before we start. But I'm also bringing back Richard Kenobi, aka now the Jedi Bender. How you doing, man?
I'm doing good, man. I'm definitely happy to be back here doing Dragon Ball reviews with you. It has been a while. I don't know if anyone's really missed me doing Dragon Ball Super reviews with you, but I'm happy to be back, and I'm happy to be talking about arguably the most anticipated Dragon Ball film of 2019. Dragon Ball is off to a great start this year.
It's so great, it's over 9,000.
Yes, and also too, I'm happy that everything's working fine. We tried recording this 2 days ago, but there were technical difficulties on both of our ends, but now everything seems to be running fine. So this time we're gonna do this right, and we're gonna do this proud.
Yes, and I just want to put this out here, guys, as I had mentioned this not too long ago, is that it is Dragon Ball Super is officially like third all time for US numbers in the box office, only behind Pokemon Movie 2000 and Pokemon the first movie, which were regular theatrical releases, which obviously Dragon Ball Super Broly is not, and it's made over $21 million at the box office. And it's going strong even more.
Yes, I know. Like, to talk about that for a second, I cannot believe that, because when we originally recorded this, Dragon Ball Super Broly had been at number 8. It was already close to passing Ponyo, but then after we ran into technical difficulties, the next day we immediately find out the film has just shot up to number 3, and it doubled what it had made the previous day. So that is crazy that a non-theatrical released film, anime film no less, and it's Dragon Ball, you got to think about that, is already in the top 3 behind 2 of the best Pokemon films of all time. That is
again had regular theater releases too. So.
Yes. And this was in the and also too, you got to remember, those 2 movies came out in the prime of Pokemon's lifespan, and this movie is coming out after we've had a 7-year Dragon Ball renaissance, where everyone is now back with Dragon Ball.
I would say Dragon Ball's been going on longer than that, but
Yeah, no, but well, again, this is the 3rd film to come out after Battle of Gods and Resurrection F, which yes, which again, so yeah, that's crazy that the 3rd film in this ongoing renaissance that we're in, theatrical wise, is already in the top 3. I can't believe that. So it is a crazy time to be a Dragon Ball fan right now.
Yeah, I mean, when I originally reported that it was now like when it premiered, it was the #1 movie that was currently being watched for the first couple of days. And I had talked about it was like around 8 or 7. I had said, realistically, it's probably going to be at 5. It's going to probably pass 5. I didn't think it would get to 3. And so I'm really happy that it overachieved my expectations of where I thought it could realistically be at.
I agree, yes.
I'm very happy about this. But getting to the film, because it was a really good film. And again, there are spoilers, because we are talking about the review. So if you haven't seen the film, I mean, you should have already seen it by now. But if you haven't seen it yet, you still have a couple more screenings to see it, assuming this is going to get an extension, which I believe it will.
I hope so.
So here we go, guys. So if you haven't seen it, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, we're going to get into this now. So Dragon Ball Super Broly, like I said, with this film, I mean, It started off. I mean, I don't know from your perspective, but you said there was a lot of previews for yours. For me, there was only maybe like 2, I think, previews we had. Nothing really special. Previews that things that wasn't really interested in. But then well, I've already said my experience. You know, there were some great things at my theater that I just didn't even expect to happen, as I mentioned in a previous video. But so when they get to the movie, it goes right into the whole thing with the origins of the new origins, I should say, because this is the now brand new origins that the new manga Dragon Ball Minus had sort of created, that we had never seen before, because obviously the original origins was quite different, for the continuities and the specials in the movies, because that was how it was originally depicted. So this is the first time where we had seen this being animated, and it was pretty interesting because it didn't take away from the whole aspect of the film, because it fit in with this film. It wasn't just there to be animated so people could see it. It actually had a purpose, which is what I liked about it. But getting to where it started, they start with Planet Vegeta, and they basically get into talking about Vegeta's in a pod, and actually no, I'm sorry, King Vegeta. King Vegeta first is visited by King Cole. King Cole, and basically King Cole relinquishes the title to his son, and basically because his son is more ruthless than him, and they have these scouters. They introduce the scouters, which we all know the scouters can detect everybody, and so basically it leads to the King Cole relinquishes it to the title to Frieza, and then Frieza basically introduces the scouters, and then that's what leads to him putting on the scouters to show the Saiyans what's going on, and then he sees the power levels of the people hiding in the buildings and stuff. Like the Saiyans hide in the buildings, he destroys them, kills them basically, and so that is basically showing the Saiyans, like Frieza's basically showing the Saiyans that he means business and stuff like that. So that was the first sequence of that scene.
Yeah.
Say anything about it?
Oh yeah, sure. I basically, like a lot of people, I was a little taken back by them adapting Dragon Ball Minus and making little tweaks here and there to it. But I gotta say, if you don't mind these kinds of retcons, because this is Dragon Ball, Akira Toriyama loves to make these kinds of retcons like all the time. So other than that, I thought this was very good, like very good at introducing us to the main 3 protagonists of this movie, which were, of course, Goku / Kakarot, Vegeta, Broly, but also showing us their parents and their perspectives on what was going on at the time, like King Vegeta's perspective on now having to follow Frieza, which it was great to see classic Frieza be as ruthless as ever. I even love the fact that Dodoria and the rest of Frieza's men made a little cameo, especially the Ginyu Force. I'm a guy who loves the Ginyu Force, so it was great to see them back. But I also really liked on how it really set up the story and showed us a backstory on Planet Vegeta. We really got to see it in a way I don't think we've ever seen it before, because we've been told about it, but we've never really gotten to see how people were back then, even though this also changes things, because from what we've been told about Planet Vegeta, everyone was ruthless and barbaric. They took over planets, and that's how they made their profits. So if you really are that committed to the canon and you don't like change, you're probably not going to like these first 25 minutes. I think I can say that. But other than that, I thought it was great. It was amazing to have an actual story that sets up our three main protagonists and gets you more hyped for their inevitable confrontation later on in the film. So I liked it. I thought it was great. And it was also good to see King Cold and all of them back. But I also liked the reintroduction, I should say, of Paragus, because I liked Paragus. And I was very happy with how they redid his character here. Instead of him trying to stop King Vegeta from killing him, he's trying to stop him from sending him away, even because King Vegeta is jealous that he could potentially be stronger than his own son, which he's not going to have. So I actually like that change.
That was quite a quite interesting change. I was like thinking about that for a second when I first seen it. I was like, this is. Because it's interesting, because originally he wanted to just kill him, in the original canon. Here it's like, I'm going to exile him to this abandoned planet, but be happy that I'm not killing him. I thought it was pretty interesting. I thought it was pretty interesting how they did it, how they went about that. But I thought that was the first real noticeable change in this movie that you see of the Broly character, which I thought was pretty interesting, because as you said, Broly was scaled, and King Vegeta was obviously jealous of the fact that he's right there next to his son, and he's already surpassed his son in power and stuff like that, and he doesn't like that, and so he's gonna send him to this abandoned planet and whatnot. So I thought it was pretty interesting how they went about that. It was an okay change. I thought it was a pretty good thing to do there. For it, but interesting note on this whole matter is Paradox basically confronts King Vegeta and basically says he could be an asset, don't send him to this planet. King Vegeta doesn't listen to him, and he already had sent the pod up before he had confronted him. So Paradox hijacks a spaceship, or frees a spaceship actually, and he also takes one of the Saiyans hostage inadvertently. And so he goes to the other planet. And it's about I think they said it was 2 days. It was 2 days since they had gotten to that planet, the abandoned planet, and they found Broly. And then basically he kills the other Saiyan. Right, he shoots him down. Because they don't have that much food. And so,
exactly.
Because the ship unfortunately has been was broken. So they are basically stuck for years upon years, and it's just crazy to think that these guys could be stuck on this planet with really no food supplies except for these animals that are there, right? And that's what they basically lived on. This is how Broly has grown up. With the it's just pretty interesting how they just did that, and it's just okay, which we'll get into a lot of interesting things that develop in this too, which again kind of doesn't make sense, but I guess they're Saiyans, but so I guess does make sense. But there's some weird things that they mentioned that it's kind of wait, what? How is they allowed? How do they live that long with this going on? What did you think of the barbaric planet concept?
I thought it was a great idea, showing us more of the galaxy in the Dragon Ball universe, but also showing us Broly's determination of surviving rather than fighting. I like that idea because if this was the old Broly, they just would have had him fight these creatures. But no, I like that he's trying to survive. And he's smart enough to get around this planet by himself for days before his father shows up. So I really thought that was interesting. And then the whole, stranded on a planet for 40 years thing. I think, okay, there was a lot I think we could have saw with that. But other than that, I think they really did a good job of just showing us Broly, this new version of Broly, and what makes him different.
Just imagine them living like for 40 years.
Exactly. Yeah.
On
Like
a
that,
freaking abandoned planet like that. It's just
yeah, with
crazy.
no water, by the way, because we later find out that there's no water on this film.
I was gonna mention that, but like
Yeah.
now, like, yeah, how did they not get dehydrated?
I have no idea. Yeah, that's a good question. So,
I mean, isn't this? I mean, technically, I mean, I don't know what the stuff is, but I thought they did have water because isn't that where that thing comes out, like that like creature thing that he uses pet comes out? Isn't that like considered water? But I guess it isn't.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know. Maybe it's like a different type of water and they don't realize it. I don't know, but it's just
I
like,
have no idea either.
it just seems like how can you make this where these characters literally live without for water, drinks, or anything like that for that long? It's just, oh my god, it's just
Exactly.
it's just
I have no
unbelievable.
idea
But
either.
now after that, I think it was like was it 5 years later after that event where they go to the
yeah, it was. No, it was actually 2 years later.
it was
It was
2 years.
2 years.
Okay, 2 years later. So 2 years later, they go to the events of Goku, or not the events of Kakarot's origins of how he goes to Earth and stuff like that with Goku, and they show freaking Bardock with his assistant, I guess, and the ship. And he's just talking about it, meanwhile, too, Frieza is, he's basically plotting his whole, basically destroy Planet Vegeta because he, still believes that the Saiyans, could still possibly be the Super Saiyan.
Yeah, no.
So basically, Bardock, he gets home, and he basically has an idea. It's a little different input character compared to the Broly, or not Broly, the freaking Bardock special thing where in the Bardock special, his character is somewhat different. It seems like Bardock is a lot more monotone in this version compared to the version he was in the special. Especially he was kind of more upfront with everything that he was doing, especially when it was confronting Frieza and going up against him. Here, he just kind of has just this intuition that something's going to happen, and he's just going to slowly act on it.
Yeah, exactly.
So he goes to his wife, Gine, yes. Gine, which is pretty interesting seeing this character because we've never physically seen her in the anime yet. This is
No, we haven't. Yes, this marks, and by the way, actually, you were right the first time. It was 5 years. I'm sorry, I messed that up. Oh, boy. But yeah, so yeah, this is the first time we've seen Gine in physically in the anime. We did see her in the Dragon Ball Minus manga, but that was completely different. So here, it's actually nice to see her. I really liked her character. Whatever, even though we're not given that much of her, she does leave a lasting impact. She has a job cutting up meat. She does worry about her husband, and she clearly is excited to spend time with her son whenever he comes out of his healing tank. I like that, but I really wish we would have gotten more of her. Like, I think we could have benefited from seeing more of Bardock and Gine, but I understand they had to cut a lot of stuff. So for what we got, I thought it was fine, but I don't know. I think we could have definitely benefited from seeing more of Gine and Bardock either before they got blown up, or I don't know, just like more of them in general. But that's just me.
Yeah, Gine was pretty interesting, and she has that soft character that we were told about. She's got a good heart, like Goku, which is where the retcon comes in, because we were always told that Goku fell on his noggin, which that's still valid, but that was originally implied to why he became good. Now they're saying that like he was always supposed to be good. It's just he didn't know where he was. and he didn't understand Earth, and that's why he did,
Yeah.
that stuff.
Yeah,
And I guess
exactly.
that's what they're trying to imply now.
Yeah, I agree. I thought that was a little. Again, I'm used to the retcons by now, so this really didn't bother me as much as I know it's going to bother or has bothered a lot of people. But I will say this: I did think, okay, maybe they could have just went about it a different way, but. Again, that's just me. I'm okay with what we were ultimately given for Gine and Bardock, which, like you said, it was very interesting to see this particular different version of Bardock, because in the original special, he was more upfront. He only cared about his team. He didn't even care about his son. Like, as soon as he saw his son at a weak power level, he just wrote him off and didn't even think about him until his death. But here, it's nice that...
only seen his fortune.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, but here I love that he actually he cares for his son, and like he's wanting to get him off the planet. So that does kind of lead into Bardock's prediction coming true, and we actually see he steals a capsule.
Yeah, he says he's gonna steal a spaceship. And like Gine's not happy about it. She's like, how do you know for sure? It's like, if it isn't true, I'll go get him. I'm gonna put him on Earth just in case. And she also mentioned that Raditz is in the military too, and she also mentioned that Goku, she feels like is a late bloomer. Which, by the way, she was right.
Yeah, she definitely was. I think she called it.
But so they steal the spaceship that night, and they put him in a pod. They actually, coincidentally, and this is something to know, is Goku is wearing Saiyan armor in the in the spaceship, which again, that never happens in any of the regular continuities. That's
no
error.
No, it doesn't. I think it may have happened in the Dragon Ball Minus story, like the manga, but I'm not sure.
When he goes to Earth, though, he was always naked, though.
Yeah, right? Well, that's because this version of Goku is much older than the baby version we're all used to, so that's why he was wearing armor, and he obviously wasn't as old as Vegeta or Raditz was, or even Broly for that matter. So. But in this version, he's shown to be much older than he was.
I don't think he was older, though, because I thought they never implied his age. It's just they made him bigger in the.
Well, no. In this version, he is, I believe, 3 or 4 years old. I can't remember the specific age, but in the original, he was a newborn baby. He hadn't exactly grown up yet, so that's why whenever you see him land on Earth, he's acting like he was just either born or he just hasn't fully, grown
and that's
yet.
to confuse people too, because he didn't have Saiyan armor. Even when they did the Dragon Ball anime, he didn't have Saiyan armor, and it's like
exactly,
it's like different. But I guess I could explain why he gets knocked on the head, so he could forget all his stuff from when he was in the Saiyans and stuff like that.
I know, yeah, which that's kind of ironic when Gine says, "Don't ever forget us," and then he immediately forgets them when he's on Earth. So that's kind of sad. But yeah, so we see Goku. He does make it off Planet Vegeta as he does, and we see Vegeta destroy Planet. I'm sorry, we see Frieza destroy Planet Vegeta. In a newly similar way, we've seen this before with him doing his classic move where he barely puts any effort into it, and then he just blows the planet up. But I think here it was very much more effective than how we've seen it portrayed in the anime, because at least with here, the explosion was much different. We actually saw the everyone die one by one as their life energy was. Yeah, exactly. Bardock did try to repel it at the very least, but I felt like we should have gotten a scene where I don't know. I feel like a scene was missing there to where maybe we should have saw more of his fight against it. But whatever. In any event, the planet gets blown up.
They also changed what the look of the planet Vegeta looks like too.
Yeah, they did. And then we cut.
Was it me, or did it look more like Planet Earth?
It kind of did, yeah. I don't know. Like I said, the animators decide how they want to animate Planet Vegeta. So whatever, I guess. But then of course, we also get to see the other Saiyans. Of course, we get Nappa, who is told that the famous lie that a meteorite killed their. Sorry, not killed. It came in contact with their planet and it blew it up. So now they're the last, and we even get little cameos from Raditz and
Vegeta.
little Vegeta. Yes, which
that was
awesome.
Kind of funny. That was kind of funny how they were little. But I also want to note something too, because if you notice in that scene, there is more than Raditz, Nappa, and Vegeta in there. There's a couple other Saiyans in there, and that's something that's pretty interesting because they weren't alive. It was supposed to just be those three that were supposed to be alive. So I thought that was pretty interesting because we never hear about these Saiyans again that lived.
No, we didn't.
So, like, what the hell happened?
I have no idea. I assume they just died over time. I have no idea.
But then after everything is said and done, we finally cut to Goku landing on Earth, and we just get a montage catching us up on everything that's happened. And then we finally see Goku and Vegeta training in this island with Bulma, Whis, and Bola and Beerus. Everyone's there. Everyone's having a good time, and
Vegeta and Goku are sparring in the ocean, or whatever.
Yeah, which Bulma does say she got this island a long, long time ago and forgot about it. But the good news now is, both Vegeta and Goku can fight and spar together without having to worry about damaging the city or the people around them. So that's good.
because Bulma is so rich that she can literally buy an island. She can buy an island.
Yeah, she can. So yeah, then afterwards, it's kind of this is kind of refreshing us. So this is where, for those of you who don't know, for those of you who mainly watch the English dub, like SS Ultimate Goku, this movie takes place, I don't know if it's immediately after the Tournament of Power or if it's just a couple of days after the tournament. They never specify when this takes place. All we know is it takes place after the Tournament of Power. And at this point, both Goku and Vegeta, even though
before we get any more further into the review too, I just want people to note that just because we're talking about this and it's technically after the Tournament of Power, we are still following the English dub of Dragon Ball Super, so nothing that we talk about outside of this movie, as well as the Super episodes that are currently already out dubbed, is the only things that are supposed to be mentioned. So again, no spoilers from any of the future Dragon Ball Super dubbed episodes that haven't come out yet.
Yeah, exactly.
So yeah, basically after the whole point in the sparring, in both of them sparring, and even Whis wants to know, like, okay, why do you want to get stronger? Do you still plan on becoming a destroyer? And Beerus even shakes this off, saying, what did you just say? And Goku pretty much states that after the Tournament of Power, it opened his eyes up to all of these different universes, and he wants to keep getting stronger, even though technically at this point, both Goku and Vegeta, without spoiling the Tournament of Power, they're both as strong as they could ever be. So the fact that they want to get even stronger now is crazy. But yeah, that happens. And then, of course, Bulma finds out that her Dragon Balls were stolen thanks to Trunks and Goten. You even get to see the Pilaf game in the background, even though they don't talk. But this is pretty much to set up that Bulma's Dragon Balls are stolen, along with her Dragon Radar. And this also brings us into the elephant in the room, Frieza, which Vegeta reminds Goku he's still alive, even after the Tournament of Power, which, once again, I won't spoil how Frieza comes back to life after the Tournament of Power. But I will say this, like, Vegeta brings up the classic points, like, oh, you idiot, you're the one who brought him back, this and that. So if he acts up, we got to deal with him, and it's your fault. So
he kept calling Goku an idiot, too.
Yeah, which both Bulma and Vegeta give Goku that look like, you screwed up again, Goku. So yeah, again, Goku, that's one of Goku's many mistakes that has come back to bite him. But
But
so
it doesn't
yeah,
matter because Goku's a superhero and he'll just take care of it again. Like he always does.
yeah. So in any event, we cut to the next scene. This is where we're getting into interesting things. We actually see Frieza back at his place.
Well, I also should mention that there's all but one Dragon Ball that was stolen because
yes. Okay.
there's
Thank
still
you.
one Dragon Ball that hasn't been that has been found yet. Actually, because that was what leads into the place where they fight. Actually,
yeah. It turns out there's one more Dragon Ball left, but it's in the Arctic, and Bulma never went to the Arctic because it was so bloody cold. So that's where they all decide to go. And while this is happening, we see Frieza back in command, which it's great to see Frieza back commanding the Frieza Force. And he's pretty much now wanting to know, like his subordinate is wanting to know, okay, so what are you going to wish for if you get the Dragon Balls back? Because even Vegeta...
First, we should mention Bulma's wish.
Yeah, no, okay, yeah. Well, wait, is that... Okay, I think we can say
that was first.
Okay, yeah. Bulma's wish is funny. She wants to wish to be 5 years younger, because I guess she's getting Saiyan envy because Goku and Vegeta, if you guys don't know, can retain their youthfulness, so that way they live longer and can fight longer. Whereas Bulma wants to just have the dragon do it, but she even says But Goku asks, well, why don't you just wish for? No, it's Whis or Goku that asks, why don't you just wish for to go back 10 years?
Goku. 10 years, and
okay.
She's like, no. She was like, no, that would be too obvious. That'd be too obvious. People be like asking, what are you doing? What are you using and stuff like that. And I'm thinking to myself when she says this, I'm like, you do realize that there are people that do this stuff, and you can just say that you got some cosmetology like surgery done.
I agree. Yeah, she can do 10 years. I mean, again, and it doesn't matter how old she is because Dragon Ball, the animators of Dragon Ball, always draw her or animate her as if she's still in her 30s. Bulma at this point is supposed to be in her 40s, but she still looks like she's in her 30s. So, I don't know what the difference is, but that's just me. But then we see Frieza, and his subordinate wants to know what's he's going to wish for. And he says, simple, I want to be 5 centimeters taller. And this is probably the funniest thing. And his subordinate even asks, well, wait a minute, why don't you just wish to be as tall as your second form? And Frieza's like, no, dummy, I want to be taller in my main form. I don't want to be as tall in my second form. That's crazy. So yeah,
what happens in the Golden Frieza form then?
Yeah, exactly. That's interesting. Like
that's what I was saying. Like by that logic, if he does it for his his regular form before his Golden Frieza form, does that mean like he gets shorter when he goes to the Golden Frieza form because it only applies to that?
I have no idea. That's a good question. But then we finally cut to the 2 new characters in this film. Well, I'm sorry, the 2 last new characters in this film. Chile, the girl with the white hair and the green skin. I don't remember the other guy's name. It's blanking on me. I don't know. I can't remember his name.
Yeah, I don't remember his either.
That's our fault.
He's the orange guy.
Yeah, exactly. So we see that they're trying to go recruit some Frieza Force members for a huge bounty, and we actually get a little bit of backstory on both of them. The Chile actually stole the armor and got in a spaceship, and ever since then she's loved being a part of the Frieza Force because she doesn't have to worry about people stopping her from committing hijinks. And then we find out that this other guy, he's been in Frieza's service for a long time, but he's just never met Frieza.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting about this new character. She kind of reminds me of Jinx from Teen Titans. I don't know if that's kind of sounds weird or something, but that's
no, it's fine. Yeah, she definitely has that rebellious, type look. I don't know. Like, I think.
What do you think she's like? Because I thought it was a really interesting character.
I don't know. I think the character of Sheila is very good. I definitely think that it's nothing new.
I'll say this: I've seen a lot of female characters and male characters like this, so Chile is really nothing new. But I do like when we see her; she has a personality, she has somewhat of a backstory, but she's not here as a waste of time. I do like on how they give some small depth to her. And I gotta say, like, out of all the new characters that were introduced here, I liked her. I really liked her. And I hope that they bring
I do like her too, and I hope they bring her back too. Like I said, she's kind of like a Jinx, but also that being said, she's kind of like a Tara too.
Yeah.
We'll get to that later on, why I think she's kind of like a Tara too. But she's kind of like a mixture of that, though. That was what I was kind of thinking, was she's kind of like a mixture of Jinx and Katara. It's really kind of weird, though. On my analogy.
Exactly.
But yeah, she's a really good character. I really liked her. I like her different dynamic, especially the way she's shown in the story, which gets into the main plot later on. But let's get more into this too. So after that is, after they're introduced, basically, we go into the sequence of, as you say, again, the Goku and everyone, they're going to the South Pole, basically, or actually North Pole, whatever you want to consider it. Not to confuse if Santa Claus was there, but hopefully he's not there. But exactly. So they're going there, basically, and while this is going on, because as we didn't really point out, is the Frieza Force goons basically have the radar, so they're trying to find the 7th Dragon Ball. They eventually actually beat them to the Dragon Ball. They find the Dragon Ball when they're falling off. They're gonna get there eventually, but then they go to the scene with Broly and Paragus, and like the new characters. They hear the distress signal.
Yes.
And so they go to that planet. And so they, Paradox is basically like waving down, hey, we're here, we're part of the Frieza Force, and stuff like that. And so they get their attention, and they kind of help them out. They get them, back to Frieza, and Frieza.
Well, also before that, they kind of judged. This is kind of not important, but like they judge their power levels, and only Paragus's power level is readable, but Broly's is immeasurable. The scouters cannot properly measure his power level. So yeah, like you say, they take him back to Frieza, and Frieza
at least they don't break anymore.
That's true. Yeah, like that's true. But yeah, then we see that Frieza is excited to see that he has 2 Saiyans under his belt. And
yeah, it's kind of interesting too, because it's like, if this was Frieza before, like, he was revived again the second time, he probably would have hated these people, because he hates Saiyans in general, right? So it was just really interesting to see, like, even though they were, technically, they were loyal to Frieza, it's like, it's still kind of weird that he was just like okay with this. Like, he was okay with this. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. Yeah, I agree. But then, so basically, Frieza agrees to take them up as his newest members. But we also see this is where we really start to see some interesting things with Broly. We quickly see that he can talk. He can form some small sentences, but he also he hasn't fully grown mentally. But he does respect his father. Yeah, he respects his father. He obviously grows more attached to Chile because she does see him as this poor soul who gets electrocuted, because we also find out that if Broly ever got too much out of control, Paragus put an electric collar on him that would not kill him, but it would hurt him enough to where he wouldn't go on a killing spree, or even potentially blow up the planet. So Chile actually takes that device after
she witnesses what he does to him.
Well,
And
first before that happens, they go see Frieza. They go see Frieza, and they basically talk to him, and they come up with the whole, what they're gonna do. They're gonna go to Earth, and he can get his revenge on Vegeta, but he wants the revenge on Goku. And not to mention, they gave Chile and the other guy a reward of like metal stick money, I guess.
I don't know
then they go to the cafeteria, and then that's where we see the whole, he gets electrocuted, and Chile doesn't like this. Also I should mention, I forgot to mention again, like when they were talking, Frieza, he said, you brought this guy and he's not, controllable. And he's like, don't worry, if he acts up, I have this remote control that control him and stuff like that. So they show that whole aspect. So again, back to the cafeteria, he electrocutes him. Also, there was a part where Chile, pulls the fur thing, which, Broly gets pissed about that. So he's like, okay, I get it. It's something important to you. And so then you got, he leaves because Frieza summons him, and because Frieza summons him alone, that leaves him, Broly, and Chile together, and basically Chile takes the device and breaks it, basically. So that's where that kind of sets up.
Yeah, exactly. Like I said, this all does a great job of really showing us Broly's personality, giving us some backstory on him, but also setting up the friendship he will inevitably have with Chile and the other guy, which I like. I really do like that. The three of them being friends, it really grows and grows on me, and I really like on how immediately after they haven't known him for that long, mainly Chile really has a connection with him, and she does everything she can to help him rebel, but he doesn't want to rebel because, even though he hates that he has to follow his father's orders, he still loves him. Like, it's unconditional love. It's kind of like,
it's quite different. It's quite different from the original Broly, because the original Broly is not like him.
Yeah, exactly. So this was very good stuff right here, and it did a great job of just, in the span of a couple of minutes, we really connect and get emotionally attached to Broly, and I think we're really rooting for him to, rebel against his father, which I like. And, to be fair, Chile has a point. Paragus in this version, in the original version, he did love his son. It's just he had to control him to keep him from going crazy, but the original Broly saw that as a bad thing, and that's why he ended up killing him when he had the opportunity. But now the roles have been switched. This version of Paragus went from loving his son to just being a dick to him and not letting him have friends, not letting him
he really couldn't necessarily have friends, really, anyways.
Well, no, he had one friend, which was that
the animal, but
but then he shoots the poor thing's ear off. So he doesn't let him have friends. He doesn't even let him talk whenever he wants to talk, only when he's allowed to talk. So he's really
on board with him.
Yeah, exactly. He's really being abusive towards his son, but once again, his son's not gonna rebel against him because he loves his father. He's all he's got. So I really like that. I think this is a great way of setting up Broly. And
I also want to mention this too, because this was never addressed in the movie. But who is Broly's mother?
Good question. It's a shame we don't know.
He leaves the planet to go find Broly, and it's like his mother's like gone.
I know, yeah. It's a shame they didn't really talk about that. That would have been great if they brought it up, but they didn't. So then eventually, we finally see Frieza's minions find the 7th Dragon Ball. Goku and Vegeta catch up with them.
Yeah, did you see the scene where he's freaking like they start to fly away, right? Because they're scared, and then they just Vegeta, as they're slowly flying away, just shoots the key, energy blast, and freaking like, oh my god, that was so hilarious. That was just, like, and then Goku just jumps right on the ship. He just jumps right on the ship. Like he could have literally punched the glass if he wanted to, but he didn't. He's like, open up the door, and he's like, freaking, he's got the like, with his nose, the steam just comes right out. I was, what the frick? That was so hilarious.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly, yeah. And then we basically see, okay, that's when they land. Frieza lands down, and we finally get the introduction. We finally get to see Broly meet Goku and Vegeta, but before that happens, Frieza tells them what he wants, and there's even a moment where he says the word repugnant, and Goku stops them because Dragon Ball Super loves to show how dumb Goku is sometimes, and Goku doesn't know what the word repugnant means, and then when Frieza tells him, he's like, okay, that's all I needed to know. But then Paragus comes out, he explains his beef with them, and Vegeta even says, okay, look, that was something my father did. I have done nothing wrong to you. So even Goku's like, come on, guys, we're all Saiyans here. We shouldn't be doing. Because again, I like that Goku sees two of his own kind, and he wants to talk to them instead of fight with them, while Vegeta's just standing by, waiting to see what happens. But then eventually, Broly, Broly has to go and attack them, and which he does. And then we finally...
He goes right for Vegeta because that's his target, because Frieza doesn't want him to kill Goku. So, because he wants Goku. Now, this is interesting, too, because I want to note this, too, because this Broly pretty much has nothing against Goku. Absolutely nothing. Like, he was obsessed with Goku in the original continuity. Like, he used to say, Kakarot, Kakarot, Kakarot. We don't hear him once say Kakarot in this movie. Like,
exactly.
It is just such a different tone, man. Like, and he's going right for Vegeta instead. Like, it's just really interesting how different it is now.
Exactly, yeah. I agree. It is very interesting how it's different. And then, oh my god, okay, there are 5 fights in this. Well, actually, technically, there's like 7, but okay, this is going to be hard to go by. I think we can just, talk about it and, bring up some little things here and there, but...
So, the fight between Vegeta and Broly sped up. Now, again, Broly, as mentioned by Paradox, is that he never has become a Super Saiyan. He doesn't even know what a Super Saiyan is. He thinks it's a myth. He thinks it's a myth like all the other Saiyans, which to me that was just so weird, because it's like Broly's supposed to be the legendary Super Saiyan, right? Yeah. And it's like, it's not. Like, at least he hasn't gotten it yet. Which is just so weird thinking about that. It's like, because by this point he already has had it in the original continuity. Here he doesn't have it at all. But
exactly.
Despite the fact that he doesn't have Super Saiyan, in his base form, or his rage, I guess, form, because his eyes get a little lighter, I guess, basically he can keep up with like a Super Saiyan Vegeta, with him being in base form. And it's not really until Vegeta, which we get the first time ever in an anime for Vegeta, the Super Saiyan God Vegeta, which looked awesome, by the way.
Yes. Oh my god. Oh my god. Like, Super Saiyan God Vegeta's debut in here was amazing. It was so good. Oh my god. Like, the way they had the transformations, and Jesus, whoever handled the transformations in this movie, please put them on the show when it comes back, because it was great. We do see Vegeta, get the upper hand. As soon as he goes in Super Saiyan God, like in Broly's base form, Broly can barely keep up. And at one point, Vegeta's pretty much almost got him, which Goku says, no, wait, Vegeta, don't. and then Broly gets so mad okay, this is how Paragus explains it in the film, but for some reason, whenever he cut off his tail, every time Broly gets mad, he still can go into the mindset and power set of a great ape while still remaining in his human form. So when he comes back, he's able to just take everything Vegeta throws at him. Like, you all know the scene where Vegeta throws a Super Saiyan God punch at Broly. It doesn't do jack. And at that point, Vegeta just gets tossed around like a ragdoll. And then eventually it ends. It just ends abruptly. Vegeta doesn't even get anything else. So then it's Goku's turn to fight him, which, by the way,
because Vegeta actually got to fight first, which he normally
that
doesn't.
is true. Well, yeah, that's true. But I felt like, okay, if this movie would have been a bit longer, I'll get into that later. I felt like maybe they could have stretched out the Vegeta and Broly fight a little bit more, but that's just me. But anyway,
they gotta make more time for the superhero.
Okay, so yeah, we get to Goku, which, by the way, I gotta say this right now. I loved how Goku started to warm up. He's doing all of these jumping.
He's doing the skipping, the jumping.
Yeah, he's like a boxer. You know, he's getting ready to fight, and then he starts fighting him in base form, which he does a better job of fighting Broly's. I don't know what we would call it. I guess we can call this his great ape human form. Better than Vegeta did. And then eventually there comes a point where, okay, he turns Super Saiyan, which again, it's awesome. And then there's that's not good enough. And then we get a scene where he goes God form, which, by the way, can I say that I think Goku's God form transformation was a bit more better than Vegeta's? I'm not saying that because I didn't like it. I'm just saying I love how Goku is just standing there and then his hair is turning back to normal and it's just glowing red. It was beautiful.
I actually think Vegeta's was better, like, in terms of the way. I guess the way you're looking at like the way that it was positioned. I guess you're looking at it because he's standing up.
The way. I mean, I don't know. That's just how I saw. I think I may need to see it again, but I could actually say Vegeta's is possibly better. I don't know,
because the way I looked at it, it was just like it just felt like when Goku transformed, it just felt like it was quick. It just felt like it just kind of like all of a sudden he just kind of went right into it and just didn't really like, you didn't have like really a build up to him going to it like where Vegeta you had like, a little kind of long pause of him getting ready to, the hair changing and stuff like that and transformation, where Goku's, it went into like a different couple of sequences and it just kind of went. I guess they might have just did that because a lot of people have already seen Goku in Super Saiyan God already, and they haven't seen necessarily Vegeta in Super Saiyan God with the exception of in the manga. But like in the anime, like they've never really seen Vegeta in a Super Saiyan God form yet, or in the movie formation too. So I'm thinking that's why they did it that way, because people probably figured they've already seen Goku in that, so they probably quickened it for Goku.
I agree, yeah. But in any event, and then basically we also get we do get a technique. Okay, this is what I really loved about the Goku and Broly fight, which I'll get into that later about the good parts about this fight. You get to see Goku use martial arts techniques that he has not used since Dragon Ball. But he even comes up with a new technique, which, by the way, we don't see this technique in the Tournament of Power. It was just for this film. We see him use his God Ki to stop Broly dead in his tracks and freeze him in place, just so he can talk to him and tell him, like, look, I can tell you're not a bad guy. You're not even doing this because you want to. You're being forced to. Like, there's another way you could get out of this. You don't have to listen to what people tell you to do. But Broly, of course, doesn't listen. And he takes the technique, which I'm guessing took Goku a long time to learn. I don't know if Vegeta can do it, but he turns it on Goku, and it's all green. So he really goes crazy.
Yeah, this technique was really, this technique was really interesting because it was kind of like a barrier type thing, like where he was just freezing him somehow. But it was just I didn't know, and I'm glad you clarified that. It's just something that he's done in the movie. I don't know if this is going to be necessarily something he's going to be able to do again in the future. But it's really interesting that he has this type of move now. Like, I mean, he can just freeze someone from moving now.
Yeah, exactly. Which, by the way, once again, this does leave Broly to overcome Super Saiyan God, and at one point, he starts trashing Goku. He even picks him up by his legs, and he's slamming him on the ground repeatedly. Like, you can actually hear Goku screaming from the inside, and it's painful for him. So he does eventually get him close to the ground, and there is a moment where, like, okay, Goku has to stop taking this lightly. He has to be serious. So then we get to arguably one of my favorite transformation scenes in the movie, Super Saiyan Blue, which, by the way, I love how they built up Super Saiyan Blue, because Vegeta didn't go blue, but now Goku is going blue. And the way Goku goes blue, it's so beautiful. Like, I've never seen... It's not the classic blue aura you've seen before. This is a different looking color aura. But before that, now, I won't spoil... This movie does have a spoiler for one of Goku's new techniques, which you all know about if you've kept up with the internet. It goes by... you all know what it's called. I'll just say the UI technique, if you know what I'm talking about, with the white hair. It does make an appearance in this film, but it's only for a couple of seconds, and then he goes right back into blue. So I liked on how...
I just thought that was just like some movie expense.
No, that was Goku's newest form that he'll eventually get in the Tournament of Power. Yeah, which again, I won't spoil it, but yeah, that was nice. And then it's... Oh my God! Super Saiyan Blue Goku versus Broly.
Yeah, Super Saiyan God, Super Saiyan transformation was really well animated here. They really made it really good looking.
Oh yes, absolutely,
for this movie.
Yes, absolutely. Which I don't know. And at some point, again, Broly goes crazy, and I think at some point, I can't remember what triggered him, but he does eventually go Super Saiyan for the first time. And
yes, now. It's kind of weird. Broly's Super Saiyan looks kind of normal in this, which it's kind of weird because his Super Saiyan is supposed to be slightly different, because it's supposed to be the legendary Super Saiyan form or whatever. I don't know if you call it that anymore now, but it's really interesting because we have Kaba, who's been introduced recently, and she's basically, I guess, the Broly of Universe 6 is all paying attention from the recent episodes. And she kind of looks like the older Broly, as a female. But in this movie, Broly kind of his I don't know what it was exactly, but his Super Saiyan wasn't kind of as like kind of like what hers is and what the older Broly's was. It kind of had like that weird color tone that was kind of slightly different from the gold and stuff like that. Kind of had like that littleish green. It kind of really didn't have that tone as much in there. I thought so. I don't know if that was just kind of like an error on the movie, or if it was just, I don't know what that was, but it just didn't feel like they didn't have like the right color tone for it.
Exactly. Yeah, I agree with you. So then eventually we get like everything gets out of control. Like they screw up the Arctic, and we eventually see that they have to go. So Vegeta does actually join in. Like this is where it gets crazy. So Vegeta joins in.
We also mentioned Piccolo too. Is like this is going on.
Piccolo.
Yeah. Piccolo is on standby because he can sense Goku, and Goku's like
and this is before.
Stay on standby because I might need to use instant transmission later.
Which he does, but then afterwards we see that everything, the whole, I think the planet literally should be fucked up because they essentially turned the polar ice caps into lava, and we see that global warming is probably now affecting the Earth. So congratulations, Broly. You've kind of screwed up the Earth's polar caps, but I'm sure they'll fix it.
Hopefully Santa Claus isn't on there.
Yeah, exactly. So then Vegeta gets in on it, and with both of them, they try to take him on together. They even do that famous Kamehameha and Gallic Gun.
which was awesome. But
Yeah, that was
even that is not enough. So they essentially decide, okay, we have to go. So this was actually my favorite funny scene of the movie. They as soon as they're leading Broly away to try and use.
We also should mention before this happens.
Oh yeah, sure.
Frieza kills the father.
Yes.
And then tries to act that's like someone else did it. Which
Yes,
then
which
raises Broly even more. But I mean, like, I was thinking to myself, I was like, because this is gonna come up, but I was thinking to myself, I mean, does he like Broly can't be this stupid, right? Like, he can't like not think that
yeah.
Frieza. He cannot not think that Frieza didn't do this. Like, he's right there. Like, why? like. But he kept fighting Goku and Vegeta, so I was like, oh, okay, like, he must not know. Like, he must really not know. But then, of course, as we lead to this, Goku uses instant transmission on Vegeta after Broly decides to beat the shit out of Frieza.
Yes, exactly. Like that, Goku even says, "Here, Frieza, you take him now." And yeah, so Broly has literally lost all control. He will fight. He's now gonna fight anybody he can. So we essentially see Vegeta and Goku go to Piccolo, and they're trying to discuss, okay, what can we do? How can we stop him? And then Goku brings up the fusion dance, which Vegeta even says, oh, Trunks has told me about that. And then he says, wait a minute, are you talking about the one where we have to literally dance? And Vegeta even says, I don't want to do that. I'd rather die. He gives the classic Vegeta speech. And Goku even says, oh my, come on, you're going to let your beloved daughter and your wife die? And
by the way, who's protecting Bulma in all of this? Well, this is all going on.
Well, technically, Whis is protecting Bulma because Whis and Bulma are still there.
Well, yeah, I know, but Whis is eventually starts fighting too. So, like, I was like, what's going on?
Bulma's good at keeping her distances from crisis like this. She's done it so many times. Like, she did it on Namek. She did it in the, she did it in the Android saga. She didn't do it in the Boo saga, but yeah, she's good at it. She's good at staying out of the way. So yeah, they have to learn the fusion dance, and once again, Vegeta is giving his classic, I would literally rather die, but they're forced to do it, and it takes them 3 tries to get it right. The first 2 times.
2 tries.
Okay, yeah, sorry, 2 tries to get it right, which the first time, it's funny because we see fat Gogeta. He's not called Fat Gogeta. I can't remember his name, but we see him make a return, which it's funny to see that. And then Piccolo tells him, you guys didn't do it right. Try again. And then when they do it the second time, they in the first time, their fingers don't fully connect when they do it. The second time, when they do it, the angle wasn't right. So they transform into this skinny looking Gogeta, and then the third time they do it, they get it right. Yeah.
Meanwhile, an hour has passed by because it's a half hour for the fusion, and I just want to put this out. It takes an hour. It takes a whole hour for Frieza and Broly to fight while Goku and Vegeta learns this fusion technique.
Well, yeah. Well, no, technically.
Yet it takes 10 episodes for 5 minutes when Goku is fighting Frieza. Just have to put that out there.
Yeah, no. Well, technically speaking, okay, the first time they do it, they get it wrong. They have to wait 30 minutes. Then, yeah, the second time. So, yeah, technically you're right. It was almost 2 hours. It took a whole hour and a half.
It would be an hour because it's a half hour each.
Yeah, exactly. So it took them a half hour to get this right. I agree with you. That was kind of messed up. So
it took a whole hour to get it right because it was
which thank God they didn't get it. Well, again, thank God they got it right the third time. So they get it right.
Like, how the hell does Frieza fight him for an hour?
I know, yeah. Which again, this is where I think we should have gotten more scenes showing the fight. But hey, I'll get to that later. So we finally see Gogeta is here, and he's even like Piccolo says.
He basically asked Piccolo, "What about a name?" Because it can't be Vegito because that was with the the Porsche.
Atari, Atari, and then they come up with they even say Gokujita or something like that, but then they settle on Gogeta, which that does sound better. And he instant transmissions there, and right as he gets there, Frieza has pretty much gotten the crap beat out of him, and Frieza gets to interact with Gogeta, which Gogeta
also mentioned that Whis also starts to fight a little bit too.
Yeah, which that was actually cool. Which I mean, out of everyone there, the only one Broly couldn't land a hit on was Whis because Whis is 10 times stronger than him. So
But it's kind of weird that he didn't try to take him out.
Yeah, I think it was Whis is the only one who could have fought Broly for an hour while Vegeta and Goku were trying to learn the fusion. Frieza could barely keep up. So yeah, I think if Whis would have fought them for an hour, Broly for an hour, he could have handled it. I think he definitely could have handled it. But whatever. So we finally get the final fight of the movie, Gogeta versus Broly, and they start off in base, and then they go to then they go to Super Saiyan, and then they go to Super Saiyan Blue, which again I think, which each time they transform, you can tell it's getting more seriouser and seriouser.
Yes. Now, I want to mention this because I mentioned this in my previous video on a note that I noticed, and I don't know if you noticed it, but I noticed it. So Gogeta, he explicitly mentions that it's a fusion of Kakarot and Vegeta. Now, if you remember. If you guys are fans of Geekdom 101, I'm assuming most of you are, he had an interview with Sean Schimmel that was released on Christmas Day, and he had said, or Sean Schimmel had implied, that Sean Schimmel is the voice of Goku for anyone who's been living under a rock for 20 years. He has basically implied that they heard in the translation when they were dubbing the movie Goku and Vegeta. Now, Geekdom 101 had claimed that in the Japanese translation, correct me if I'm wrong on any of this, that it was translated to Kakarot and Vegeta, but they didn't understand why. They both didn't understand why, and Sean Schimmel had claimed that it was supposed to be Goku and Vegeta, and so that's what that's what he claimed they went with. And so then when we get to the movie, because he had said, we'll go check that out and see if we might have to change that. Now that's what he said in the interview. Then this movie comes and he does not say Goku and Vegeta. He says Kakarot and Vegeta, which personally I think this was wrong anyways, regardless of the translation, because I think it should be Goku and Vegeta because obviously the name is Gogeta, which is based on the Goku name, not the Kakarot name. So that's my whole stance on this.
To quickly go over that. Yeah, I thought that was weird. I mean, unless it's Vegeta, because see, that's the thing. We're supposed to see, this is supposed to be more or less Vegeta taking the driver's seat in the fusion and not Goku. So if Vegeta was saying Kakarot and Vegeta, okay, I could understand that. But if this is supposed to be Goku taking the driver's seat for Gogeta, and he says Kakarot and Vegeta, I think that's kind of weird. But I have no idea.
It doesn't make sense because I felt Goku was more in the driver's seat for this fight, anyways, because he does the Kamehameha too later in the fight too.
Yeah, so, I don't know. It's very confusing, but yeah. So that was very weird. But either way,
do you think it was a change, or was it like because Sean Schimmel had said that explicitly, and then when we get the film, it's different. So I don't know if he had told Geekdom. I was wondering if he had told Geekdom that just because he didn't want to tell them this, or if he, because he can't reveal certain stuff, maybe, or this was just, they just went over it and they changed it. I'm just curious. I'm just really wondering, like, if that's.
Yeah, I agree. I don't know. I really don't know. I do not have an answer for you, but regardless, Gogeta is here. I think that's all anyone ever cares about. Gogeta's here and all that, which we do get some awesome fight scenes. This is much better than Gogeta's appearance in Fusion Reborn, because in Fusion Reborn, he was only in the movie for a couple of seconds, but here you really can tell that, okay, he has a much bigger impact. And for the first time, it's actually pretty even. Like, Gogeta is, for the most part, keeping up with Broly, but he's even successfully beating him in some areas. And then there comes a moment where, okay,
Broly gets so pissed that now he goes into his famous legendary Super Saiyan form, and they fight so hard. I don't know what this was meant to imply, but there's a scene where they fight so hard they're in another reality. Like they're not even in the same environment we've seen. It almost looks like they entered a time skip from.
Yeah, that was just random. How that they just randomly just got into something because someone was telling me that it was like a dimension, like it was actually a dimension. Which, I mean, I didn't think of it as a dimension, like a galaxy type dimension. But I didn't think of it as a dimension until like someone pointed that out to me, and I was like, yeah, that could be a dimension, but like, how did they get? Like, I mean, they just kind of fought each other into it. Really, I think it was.
Yeah, no, I agree. It was definitely weird. Yeah. So yeah, then after that, we essentially get the tail end of it. Chile at this point is wanting to get Broly out of there. So she threatens one of Frieza's subordinates who gets the Shenron out and performs the wish. But before that, Gogeta is about to charge. You can tell Gogeta is one step closer to killing Broly. So he charges up a Fusion Super Saiyan Blue Kamehameha, and it comes this close to killing Broly. But Chile says, "Okay, save him and return him to his home, his planet."
I really liked that Super Saiyan God Super Saiyan Kamehameha thing that he was doing. It looked really good. Of course, it doesn't connect to Broly, because Chile obviously gets him off the planet in time, with the wish. Now again, it should have been 2 wishes, not 1. Again,
Yes, like even Dragon Ball Resurrection F said, okay, you get 2 wishes. So I don't know. They keep retconning it back and forth. It's either 2 wishes or it's 1 wish. So
then in the remake for Super, the series, they did 3. Then.
Yeah, I know. It's very confusing. I think for convenient purposes, I think the reason they chose to have 1 wish in this film, it was just convenient for them to get Broly out of there. So that's why you didn't see them. You didn't see Shenron mention 1. It was more convenient to get Broly out of there. So yeah. Either way, Broly is saved. He's back in his regular base form.
On the planet. Which is kind of weird because shouldn't he like still be powered up when he goes to that planet? Like I
don't know. Planet? I guess he ultimately ran out of gas, so yeah, that's kind of weird. And then Chile and the other guy, they try to escape, and Frieza tries to shoot them down, but Gogeta's like, okay, no, don't even think about it. So then Frieza pretty much flies off and says, yeah, we'll meet again. I'll come back here. So
to find he basically he lets Chile and them go to find Broly because he's like they're traitors, but if they can keep him under control, I'll be back for Broly to use him again, basically is what Frieza.
Exactly, yeah. Which I think we all know that's not going to work, but Frieza's smart. I'll give him that. He's definitely showing his cunningness. So yeah, we essentially see that Chile and the other guy, they decide to go join Broly because they're traitors now. They can't go anywhere, so they figured, why not? We'll stay with Broly. We'll keep him company.
Yeah, Chile will definitely be keeping Broly company, if you know what I
mean. Yeah. So then we see that they're trying to live off of the food that Broly lived off of for like 40 years or 20 or 30 years, however long it took he was there for. And then Goku shows up.
Well, no, they don't like it at first, and they're like, don't worry, you'll be getting used to it soon. We only have like 10 days of supplies here for us to go, and then that's when Goku
shows up.
Transmissions. And basically kind of tries to befriend Broly, and they're like, Chile and the others like, what are you doing? What are you doing? And I'm thinking to myself, what are you guys going to do, first of all, anyways? Second of all, Goku's like giving you food.
He also gives them a house. He had Bulma whip them up food, a house, and all that. So, yeah, I don't really see what they're complaining about or what they're even going to do at this point because, so they even
like they even say, look, just because you're doing these nice things for us, that doesn't mean we're gonna be friends. And Goku's like, that's probably for the best. And he's just there. Goku states he's just there to teach Broly and even make sure that he stays on the path that he thinks he can be. So he doesn't mind if the Chile and the others don't like, and the other guy doesn't like him. So yeah, and he even says like, hey, Broly, I can teach you some things, and make sure you can control your powers, because let me tell you something. There's this other guy named Beerus, and I think you may be as strong as him. Which that is, I don't know how true that is, but hey, we got to make Broly powerful somehow. Yeah. So
it's kind of funny what they did with Beerus. Speaking of Beerus, it's kind of funny what they did with Beerus, because Beerus was left behind.
He had to babysit Bola.
Yeah. Cool, in which he was not happy about that.
Yeah, no, he wasn't. And then just when the movie's about to end, they ask him like, "Okay, what's your name?" And Goku says, "Well, on Earth, I'm called Goku.
I'm called Goku, but Broly, you can call me Kakarot." And I was like, are you freaking kidding? Why would you say that, Goku? What I was thinking about was they did this as a pun, because Broly always used to call Goku Kakarot in the original continuity that he was in. So I guess that was their excuse to having him being called Kakarot.
Or it was just a way for them to acknowledge, like, I think at this point, Goku has acknowledged his Saiyan heritage, so he's not afraid to be called Kakarot or even tell people to call, but the other reason I think he told Broly, like, you can call me Kakarot, is because, well, again, that's his real Saiyan name, and he's befriending another Saiyan. So it's really, I think it's more of that. Like, it's just Goku saying, hey, we're both Saiyans, so you two can call me by my Earth name, but Broly, since you're a Saiyan like me, I think you can call me my real name, Kakarot.
Which it's kind of weird, because Goku never really liked his real name. He always liked the Goku name. So
so that's it. That's where the movie ends, guys.
Vegeta too is like Vegeta calls him it just because he calls him that, And
because that's his Saiyan name.
He just kind of accepted that, but he never actually told Vegeta to call him that. Vegeta just kept calling him that and just never stopped, basically.
Exactly, yeah. So, other than that, yeah, that's the movie, and
that's the end of the movie. And the credits come on. It's pretty interesting credits, but they had them all translated in English and stuff. But again, they didn't put the English cast on the credits, which really annoyed me, because it was
they did. They just waited.
Yeah, they did it after. They did it as the how they have the special English credits after the original animated credits are done. I wish they would have incorporated that into the animated credits. They sometimes do that. I think they should have done that for that, but that was just my little tidbit on that. Overall, I really liked the movie. I was I enjoyed it. I've seen it twice, so I've seen it 2 times so far. The premiere day on Wednesday, and then the next day after that. Literally. So I've seen it twice already. Really good movie. I really like it. I'm hoping this will lead to another movie. Obviously, maybe we'll get another movie sooner because of how good it's doing so far in America and Japan. Obviously, it was going to do great in Japan, but U.S. had a disadvantage of being a limited theater release again, and it's doing obviously very strong for a limited theater release, as we noted at the beginning of this video. So I like it. My whole thing in terms of where this movie ranks compared to the 3 movies, because my personal favorite movie of the Dragon Ball Z movies is personally Cooler's Revenge. But in terms of the 3 movies that we've seen that were in theatrical releases, for us at least, I would still put, in terms of the animation, it's better than all of them. Animation top notch over all of them. In terms of the presentation of the previous 2 films, Battle of Gods and Revival of F, I personally think both Battle of Gods and Revival of F are slightly better in terms of storyline development, because it never felt like in this particular movie they were in danger. like, Frieza was going to use the Dragon Balls not to become immortal. He was going to use the Dragon Balls to get taller. Same with Bulma. She wanted to use the Dragon Balls to get younger or look younger. So it never really felt like, and that was basically what we're going to do. I mean, the only reason why Frieza decided to basically invade Earth, in terms of like actually try to destroy it, I guess, or try to destroy Goku, was because Broly came. Into the fold. That's the only reason. Otherwise, he was just going to try to get the Dragon Balls and make his wish. To basically get taller. That was it. So for me, I personally think Battle of Gods and Revival of F were both better than in terms of the storyline plot standpoint of the movie, because it never felt like there was really anyone in danger. Broly in this case, wasn't trying to necessarily destroy the Earth. He was just taking orders from his father to get revenge. So it never really felt like there was like really like this villainous threat. Broly is not a villain in this continuity, which kind of disappoints me a little bit, because, I made a discussion video about Broly, where people stand on, the canon Broly now versus the non-canon Broly, the original Broly. In terms of the standpoint of where this Broly is compared to the old Broly, it's a lot different. I mean, there's some things I like about it, and there's also some things that I don't necessarily like about it. But in terms of the movie storyline plot, I think it's not really as on point as Revival of F and Battle of Gods, because it doesn't have that life-threatening type thing, good versus evil, I guess, really, sort of, so to speak, where planets at risk and stuff like that. It didn't feel like that necessarily. It was more of, Broly taking orders, and that was really, where it led in the plot. Still a great movie nonetheless. I still enjoyed the movie heavily, and I love the top-notch animation. The animation was better than all the movies so far. Yes. That we can all agree on. But that's where my stance on this. I'd give it probably. I still give it like maybe a 9 out of 10, maybe even a 10. I still maybe I'm just being a little biased, but I still loved it nonetheless.
I liked it too. It was definitely the best Dragon Ball experience I've ever had in a theater.
Absolutely.
Yes, like you said, the stakes weren't as high in this, but I'm okay with that, and I actually do like that, because, the stakes, there weren't that many it felt more personal than it was end of the world type, which I love. I personally like personal stuff like this. It's not a threat to the whole world or the universe, plus Dragon Ball, plus this coming off of the Tournament of Power. I thought, okay, it was wise of them to not have it be a threat level that could destroy the world or the universe. I liked it. I loved how Akira Toriyama overhauled Broly, made him a literal three-dimensional character that had depth, emotions. He could think for himself. He wasn't just a brain-dead idiot who screamed one word. So that was good. The animation, hands down, yes, as you said, like everyone can agree. Even if you don't like it, that's fine. But this is hands down the best visual-looking Dragon Ball film we've ever gotten. And chances are this will never be on, like, future Dragon Ball movies won't be able to look as good as this again. Even if Dragon Ball continues to go down this style, I definitely think it works better as a theatrical experience rather than a TV experience, but that's just me. But yeah, overall, I thought it was great. Animation, fights, characters, all that was good. My only problems was I think we needed to see more. I definitely wanted more. I hope we get an extended cut. Like, that would be nice.
Oh, so you think they have that? I didn't think there would be deleted scenes for this.
I think there would be, yeah, because, again, the movie was originally supposed to be 3 hours long, but they trimmed it down. So I think the best we can get is maybe a 1 hour and 55 to 59-minute cut, but,
What would you think it would be? Would you think it would be just more of the extended fights?
Yeah, extended fights, extended, scenes with comedy or talking. I don't know. I think there's a lot of possibilities you could do with an extended cut of this film, but that's just me. Really wish Vegeta and Goku really would have been able to put up
even more of a better fight than they did, because again, we had to show Broly was the top dog in this film, but that's okay. But just overall, like where I would place it, I would agree with you. But I kind of at the same time disagree. I think it is better than Resurrection F, but that's for my own personal reasons. However, I would not say it's better than Battle of Gods, because Battle of Gods, it was about deconstructing the characters, introducing a new threat, and just overall, it was a return to the Dragon Ball we all grew up with. So for those reasons, I hold Battle of Gods close to my heart. But I will say this, I think Broly definitely can stand right up there with Battle of Gods. So yeah, I probably give it an 8.9 out of 10. It does come close to a 9, but I think if they had more scenes and we would have had more expansions with the characters, I think it would have definitely been a 9 out of 10 film for me. But yeah, other than that, this was a great film. I definitely am happy with the success it's gotten, and it's well earned and deserved. And I really hope this pioneers us in and it continues the future of what Dragon Ball Super can go in.
Yeah, and hopefully we actually get a regular theater release next time, like I said we should have gotten this time.
Yeah, I agree, man. I agree.
Yeah. So yeah, it was really really good. Voice performance, and we haven't really mentioned that many of the voice actors. I want to just briefly go over some of them, but yeah, Vic.
Yeah.
He did fantastic as Broly. I know because from talking to him, and I've met him, and I still have that Q&A thing up from a while back. I know he necessarily is not not necessarily the biggest fan right now of Broly because of the vocal issues of Broly's character. And he did very good with Broly here, especially because I know he was talking about it in the con a couple years ago about how always he says Kakarot always, and in this movie he never said Kakarot, so I'm sure Vic was really happy that he didn't have to say Kakarot in the entire movie when Broly came back.
Absolutely.
So absolutely. I mean, who was I want to just talk about who do you think was a standout, like in terms of any of the new characters' voices? Is there any like voice that you thought was pretty good that you thought stood out?
Really quick, I gotta say, in terms of the new characters, Chile was definitely the highlight for me. I really liked Chile's voice actor. She was very well done. Also, too, it was just nice to see the regular cast come back. Christopher Sabat and Sean Schemmel kill it as always. I'm happy Chris Ayers got to come back and play Frieza. Even with his health fluctuating, I'm so happy he was well enough to record some lines for this, to record his performance. So that's always good. And
Damien too, because he played Paradox. He for anyone who doesn't know, Damien was also his Paradox, was the original Paradox, but he's also the original Cell.
Yes, I agree. I'm happy Damien came back. That was very well. Also, he's the original Future Gohan too.
Yeah, he's the original Future Gohan as well too.
Yeah, I'm happy he came back. It was very nice to hear him back. Vic did a great job as this new version of Broly. I definitely prefer his performance as this Broly far more than the original, because he didn't just say one word and a few words. He literally could have full-on sentences. So yeah, Vic's performance in this was great, and I'm so happy that he got to come back and play a better version of this character that he hated.
Yeah, absolutely. It was everything was fantastic. I mean, like I said, my experience was amazing. Probably the best experience I had for a Dragon Ball movie yet, because there was just so much hype behind this, and it's just amazing. I mean, the sky is the limit now going forward with this, especially the way the movie is right now and the way it's going right now, even here in North America compared to what it's doing in Japan. The sky is really the limit for this now, of where this is going to go. And I'm very, very happy and excited to see what the future holds for future movies, or whatever, you have it, more video games, whatever, I just, it's just amazing. It's just amazing.
I agree.
Movie that I can't wait for the Blu-ray release. Whenever that comes out, I'm getting it immediately.
I agree.
It's just amazing. I'm really happy with it. Like I said, especially with the origins that we mentioned it. I don't know if she lived. I don't think we mentioned that though. I'm pretty sure she dies, but Goku's mother. But
Yeah.
even her voice. Obviously they had to give her a voice because she hadn't had one yet. So everyone I thought really did good. So yeah. Anything else you think we needed to cover, or is it that's it?
No, I think that's pretty much it.
Yep. Okay. So, guys, let me know what you guys think about this movie. Too, put that out there. What you thought. What was your experience too? I'll put that out there for anyone who's their experience as well. Like I said, amazing movie. Let me know what you guys think. If you like this video, my videos, please subscribe. Also, go check out Jedi Bender's channel as well. Comment, rate, and that's about it. I am the SS Ultimate Goku, and I'm out of here, and we will see you later with a Kamehameha!
Later, guys.
Peace.